Hey, it's Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and welcome to another Black Belt Leadership Podcast, where each week I'm giving you tips, tools, insights, and resources to help you become a better version of who you are and what you do as you discover, develop, and deploy your own Black Belt leader within. Hey, this week I want to talk about the hand wash versus the car wash. Now, many of you that know me know I drive a Camaro, a black Camaro in particular. And not just a black Camaro, but a black Camaro with a 6-speed manual transmission. I learned many years ago how to drive a stick shift, and I love driving a stick shift. I mean, it's out of vogue today, and most people don't do it, but I love driving a stick, and several of my kids have learned to drive a stick shift, and they love it too. Now, my kids jokingly call my black Camaro the Batmobile. Now, I don't know if that makes me Batman or Bruce Wayne or maybe a combination of the two, but I'm okay with the comparison. After all, who doesn't want to be Batman and who doesn't want to have the money of Bruce Wayne? And being the two would be great. The only thing I'm holding out for are my kids to buy me the Batman costume so I could be the Cape Crusader and keep Hot Springs, Arkansas a safer place to live as I'm cruising town at night in my black Camaro. Now, I don't have a bat cave, so my car sits in the driveway. And yesterday, as I was heading out to go run some errands and to go by the post office, I noticed my car had changed colors. No, it hadn't been painted, but it was no longer black, but a greenish yellow tint because it's pollen season here in the South. And if you ever lived in the South, when the pollen kicks in, anything and everything turns yellow-green. Your cars, your driveway, your porch, everything, including you, if you manage to fall down and roll around in the grass, you're going to come up a greenish yellow tint. So having seen my car, this greenish yellow and not this beautiful black that I love, the age-old question now's got to be answered. Hand wash or car wash? You know, when it comes to washing a car, both are going to do the job. A hand wash and a car wash is both going to clean the car. It's going to wash away the pollen. It's going to remove the grime and the dirt and rain spots from recent rainstorms. But the automated car wash just down the road from my house where I get my gas does an incredible job. It does it faster and it does a good job in doing what it does. But I can tell you this, hand washing, that meticulous approach to cleaning every nook and cranny, it's really something that makes that car not just shine, but really shine. Now, the automated car wash that's near my house is easy. I pull in, I pay my money, I park my car, and the machine goes around me. It is a brushless car wash. That means nothing touches my car but the soap, the water, and the wax. That's it. I mean, there's no scrubbing. There's nothing that I have to worry about my car getting scratched. The machine follows a preset cleaning pattern as it makes 6 distinct passes around my car. It does a pre-soak, and then it does a soap, and then it does a high-powered rinse, and then it does a spot-free rinse, and then it throws wax on my car, and then it rinses. Now, barring any mechanical issues, the same process every time happens, and my car comes out basically the same clean every time I go through it. For me, it's reliable, it's consistent, it's inexpensive, and when I drive out, it's even got this fancy blow dryer that moves back and forth as I'm driving out, and it blows my car dry. Well, sort of blows it dry. It never quite gets it dry because the blower always runs out of air before I get completely pulled out. I guess I exceed the timer. But anyway, what I like about this automated car wash, I can sit in my Camaro. I don't have to exert any energy. The machine does all the work. The car goes in dirty and it comes out cleaner than when it went in. I can sit in my car and I can listen to a podcast. I can listen to the radio. I can attempt to make a phone call while all this roaring's going on outside me. Or I can simply just lean the seat back, close my eyes, and relax. Most of the time, I just watch the washing machine do its job, and I'm fascinated as I watch, and I want to make sure, is it going to get that little bug spot, yes or no, when it goes around? But the good news is I get to stay dry. I don't break a sweat, and I get to drive out with a black car, not a yellow-green car, once again. The Batmobile has been restored to Batman Black. But there is a unique drawback to an automated car wash. It lacks precision. It washes the car the same way, the same time every time, but occasionally it misses a spot. It's good at what it does, but it's not always great. Spot free isn't always spot free. I don't care what they advertise. And even with the added benefit of a blow dryer, as you exit the garage, the car is still not as clean as when you're hand wiping it down with a towel or you're using some type of chamois. The automated car wash does what it does every single time, but it doesn't do anything more than what is expected. Now, we're talking consistency. And when it comes to an automated car wash, consistency is great. But sometimes my Camaro, needs a little bit more attention to detail than what I get through an automated car wash. So again, it comes back to the age-old question, hand wash or car wash? To me, it's a matter of preference. It's a matter of choice. And sometimes it's a matter of time. But also, for you and those you're leading, it's a matter of a desired outcome. Yeah, you knew I was going to pivot this conversation to leadership, and here it goes. So are you okay with okay, or do you want something more? More importantly, are the people you're leading, the clients you're serving, the customers you're taking care of, are they okay with okay, or do they want something more? Now, I was recently doing a keynote talk for two different groups of financial professionals, one in Dallas and one in Nashville. Now, of course, as we were having an opportunity to talk about leadership, in these courses specifically, I was keynoting and talking about the secrets of highly successful leaders. Now, many of the people in the room, maybe for the first time, begin to see themselves not as sales professionals, but as leaders who were guiding their clients through the process of making wise financial choices, the choices that are necessary for them to achieve the financial outcomes they want in life, to retire, to be able to go on a cruise, to send their kids to college. Whatever it is they're doing in planning, it is the making of wise decisions as they're leading those clients through that process that matters. But in some of the one-off conversations I had either before I spoke or after I spoke, with many in the room, we discussed several aspects of their business. And interestingly, for many folks in the room, it came down to two essential questions that every leader has got to answer. Question number one, what do those that you're leading need? Question number two, what do those you're leading want? We're talking needs and wants and needs and wants. Flip them any way you want. But these questions are going to apply to anybody leading in any capacity. Now, if you're a sales professional or you're a retail business and you're delivering a product or a service to other people, you got to know what your customers need and what they want. You got to know what your clients need and what they want. You got to know what your prospects need and what they want. Otherwise, you don't know how to meet their expectations. Now, if you are leading your family, you still have to answer those questions. What does your spouse need? What do your children need? What do they want? Those are important questions you got to ask. But even if the only person you're leading right now is yourself, you still got to answer those questions. What do you need and what do you want? Now, the first question speaks to the essential things that everybody needs. A need is something essential. It's something necessary. It's something very important. Understand needs are survival focused. When we think about basic human needs, what do we think of? Food, water, air, shelter, clothing, those essential things we need just to survive. When it comes to business, there is survival focused needs there. If you create a product, that product has got to meet a minimum standard of functionality or nobody's going to buy it. If you're delivering a service, there are minimum standards of acceptable service. You fail in delivering a good product or you fail in delivering a good service, guess what? Your business is not going to survive. Now, the second question, the wants, speaks to desires, dreams, goals, and outcomes that people want to experience in their lives. The question of a want moves beyond survival to aspirations, to the big dreams, the I want this. It's the desire that we have that they're trying to fill. Any automobile can get me from point A to point B, but I like to drive a Camaro, specifically a stick shift Camaro, because I like the way it feels. Now, if I had a Ferrari or a Porsche, again, any automobile can get me from point A to point B, but a Ferrari or a Porsche, it get me there a lot faster, and they'd get me there in style. Now, a tent can provide basic shelter. We can live in a tent. We could live in a cave. We could live in a hole in the ground. But a 12,000 square foot mansion on the beach gives you room to spread out. It gives you the opportunity to live life in a more comfortable setting, and you get an incredible view of either sunrise or sunset, depending on what part of the beach you find yourself sitting on. But it all boils down to the same question: hand wash or car wash? Now, as a leader, you've got to answer these two questions. But there's another way maybe you want to think about asking and answering these questions. Maybe you ask it this way: what needs to be automated or systemized in the way you're leading so that those you're leading experience the same outcome time after time after time? And in your leadership, what needs to be personalized in your approach so those you're leading get an opportunity to have a more intimate, detailed, personal experience with you, and you don't just treat everybody the same way or treat them as a commodity. What segments of your business, your organization, your family, whatever it is you're leading, what elements of that can be automated like a car wash? So certain things operate the same way every day, delivering a consistent outcome each and every time. One of the best at automation that I've seen in the industry is Chick-fil-A. You visit Chick-fil-A restaurants anywhere in the country, and the process is the same. You get a consistent outcome every time you walk in the door. The same is true of McDonald's. You get the same basic experience everywhere you go. But there's also another question. What segments of your organization, of your business, of your leadership requires you or somebody on your team to be more hands-on? Like that hand washing of the car, so that the individuals you're serving get a customized approach that is unique to them. Again, hand wash or car wash? It's an important question you got to answer. And once you've identified the areas in your organization that you can automate or systemize, you want to make sure that whatever it is you're going to implement, that it consistently delivers an intended outcome time after time after time. But not only is consistency important, what to me is even more important is that consistent outcome is designed in such a way that it creates an exceptional experience that entices an individual to say, man, this was amazing. I can't wait to experience that again. Now I want to touch on that again. What I'm talking about here is creating in your automations, in your systems and processes, not just something that delivers consistent results, but it delivers an exceptional experience that gets that individual that goes through that process to say, this was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I can't wait to do that again. Because when they're that excited about the experience, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go tell anybody and everybody, you got to come go with me and experience this. And they become your cheerleaders and your raving fans that drive new customers into your business. Now, how you build your automated car wash when it comes to delivering consistent service and a consistent outcome matters. I mean, think about it. You can scrimp and scrape and save a few bucks, and what happens? You deliver a subpar performance. The car doesn't get clean. Or you can invest a little more. You can create something that wows the audience that you're going to be serving, and it impresses them because you're going above and beyond what's expected. Now, think about that. Any automated system can do one or the other. It can deliver subpar, it can deliver what's expected, or it can deliver more than what's expected. That's on you to design that process. But any automated system can only do so much for your audience. There are certain elements that need to be customized, needs to be personalized, and needs to be intimate in your interactions with other people so that it meets not just their needs, but their wants. Sometimes there needs to be a personal touch from you or somebody on your team with the individuals that you're engaging with. It goes beyond the system. It goes beyond the automation. It goes beyond the process to paying more careful attention to that client or that customer and serving them in a way that they see that they are individually valued. You want to look for ways that you and your team can serve each member of your audience at the highest level, letting them know that individually they are valued and appreciated. This is hand washing, and it is critically important for you as a leader to understand when to car wash and when to hand wash. Now, how do you know that? If you ask good questions and then you practice good listening skills and then you ask good follow-up questions to gain clarity, the people you are leading, your clients, your customers, your prospects, they're going to tell you exactly what they need. And more importantly, they're going to tell you exactly what they want. And when you know those two things, you now know how to craft the experience so their needs are met and their wants are achieved, and they fall in love with you and they want to experience that same outcome over and over again. When you identify what needs to be car washed and what needs to be hand washed, guess what? You can now give them attention and detail when they need it, or you can run them through a process when that's all they need and want at the moment. Both get the job done. Both will clean the car. Both will serve the customer. One approach is more efficient, but it's more generalized. I'm talking about the car wash. The other approach, the hand wash, is more detailed, more specific, more intimate, and it's personal to each person you're leading. Now, in your business, there is a place for both. And when you're interacting with others, it may need to be a combination of the two. But it's your opportunity with each person you're leading to know which method of serving them is going to work best in that moment. How do you help them accomplish their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, and their objectives? It's going to vary for each individual client. And most of the time, it's going to be sometimes a car wash, sometimes a hand wash, and you've got to identify which is appropriate and when. Now, let me leave you with one last thought as I want to wrap up this topic today. Our habits, like an automated car wash, are designed for consistency. We are creatures of habit, and we tend to do the same things the same way over and over again, so our brain can focus its energy and efforts when it has to do something it's not accustomed to doing every single day. That's why as much as 95% of our lives operate on autopilot, and we're car washing all day, every day with a lot of what we do. Now, think about that. For much of what we need to do to lead ourselves and to lead other people, that's okay, but only to a point. Because here's what I want to remind you of. Because we're creatures of habit and we keep doing the same things the same way over and over again, when we fall into that rut and we get used to simply automating everything we do, nothing changes in our lives. We find ourselves in the box with the machine going around doing the washing, and we're just sitting there and we're not actively involved in the process. And when that happens, we may miss seeing those little things that take it from a so-so clean vehicle to an immaculate vehicle. In our lives, it takes us from being okay with just being okay to identifying what we need to continue to work on, those little tweaks, those little adjustments, those little areas in our lives that need a little bit more attention so we can continue to learn, to grow, and mature and become a better version of ourselves. Because if we do everything the same way over and over again and nothing changes, this is when we find ourselves stuck where we are, as we are, not moving forward. So maybe, just maybe, we need to subject ourselves to a good hand washing now and again. Because here's what may happen. You might just uncover, and I promise you, you probably will, you're going to uncover some areas in your life that are going to need some extra attention, some extra cleaning, some extra scrubbing, some extra polishing, and you may find something that is not quite right that needs to be adjusted, tweaked, or repaired. And guess what? That's the difference between just being a leader and being a black belt leader. Hey, I'm Dr. John Terry, the Black Belt Leader, and I want to say thanks for joining me. Have a great day.